Hey you guys, what's up? I'm Ashley from heavenathome.org, and this is the Heaven at Home podcast, where my goal is to encourage you in your personal growth journey while being open, honest, and owning my story. We have faith-based conversations and tackle a bunch of different tough topics. Check out the description to follow me and learn more. Remember, you are fully known and deeply loved. Let's do this. Hey guys, what's up? I hope you all are doing well. I keep thinking that I'm going to get the hang of producing content while going through real life stuff, and that's a process. I'm working on it. Lots of changes, lots of transitions have been happening essentially since the new year started. For those of you who don't know me personally, I just sold my house, and I am now in a cute little 2-bedroom apartment, and I'm kind of loving it. I have a gym, I have a pool. That's really all someone like me could ask for. So that's nice. I posted a little sneak peek on my Instagram story about a conversation I'm really excited to have with you guys about personal growth from a Christian perspective. A lot of times my own challenges when it comes to self-development of any kind is usually after you've gone through enough hard things in life, you reach a limit. And that limit is where you say, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be better. I don't want to be a better person. I don't want to be a better version of myself because that would just benefit everybody else. And that's very real. And I feel like as a Christian, there are just these really important, really pivotal moments where we just have to let God in, and we have to choose to continue to be willing, to continue to obey, and to continue to be vulnerable and tender-hearted. And it's a lot easier said than done. So that's probably going to be my next episode. And I'm really excited just to dive into that a little bit with you guys. But today, we're going to talk about what it means to be lost in the right direction. Like I just mentioned, I just recently moved to an apartment, and in this new space, I'm just really excited. I'm excited. I feel like there's a whole bunch of new coming about. Like there's, new furniture, new decor, new aesthetics, new routines, just new everything. And I was actually looking for some home decor from Hobby Lobby. And I noticed that they have like so many scripture-based and inspirational frames and everything. And I came across this little, I guess it was a frame. It's a frame that you hang on the wall. And it literally said, it feels good to be lost in the right direction. And something about that little quote just like struck me. And I'm like, wow, I feel understood. So this morning I was driving. I was on my way to work, and I was like, like I do feel lost. Recently, my sentiment has, it's been really challenging for me because I'm like, everything around me is so messy and nothing is familiar. And I'm like, where do I belong? Where should I be? What's going on? What is God doing? Like, just very disoriented with life right now. And so I was on my way to work, and I was thinking about that little quote. It feels good to be lost in the right direction. And I was like, I do feel like that because life is happening, and I'm seeing it, and I'm living it, and I'm experiencing it. And it genuinely feels like I'm lost at times. But within me, like in the bottom of my heart, I feel, I'm sorry, I'm like kind of stumbling with the words right now. I feel assured. I feel affirmed that I'm in the right direction. Um, and I was wondering, like, where is that feeling coming from? Like, and I realized that it's rooted in obedience. Just knowing that over the course of the last almost 3 years, um, things have been difficult, things have been hard, and I'm navigating all that, but still trying and seeking out the Lord's will in everything. And that's kind of been just reassuring for me. And so I don't know if maybe you guys can relate to that feeling at all, when it comes to any life things. If there's something happening with your marriage, something happening with your finances, your health, your children, or if it's just like the timing of all things going wrong at the same time. I think there's just so many challenges that we face. And when we've been going through things, especially for such an extended period of time, and it almost becomes a season, you might relate to that feeling of like looking around and you're like, where the heck am I? Like, where am I? And there are 3 questions that I've been asking God in this particular season. One of the first ones was, why did you bring me here? Like, why did you plant me here in this city at this time? Why am I here? Why did you bring me here? That was my first question. My second one was kind of like standing around looking at everything that was happening. And I was just like, what do I do? Like, because I'm getting advice and counsel from different people saying different things. And I really just want to know what you have to say about it. And if you tell me what to do, I'll do it. And I was just kind of acknowledging that God kind of has this big picture view of stuff. And I know that whatever he would have to say, whatever instruction he would give, if it would be to let go and just trust him, if it would be to fight ambitiously and strive, or if it would be to just hold on to things in secret. It's just kind of like trying to gauge what it is that God is telling me to do in all areas of my life. What do I do at home? What do I do at work? What do I do at church? Just what do I do? Tell me what to do. Tell me everything. And so I'm definitely like seeking his direction and his instruction with that stuff. And then the third thing is, which is a new, somewhat more mature question to ask. Because a lot of times when we're in these really hard seasons of disappointment and discouragement, and there's a whole bunch of hard things happening to us, and we're tired and we're worn out, it's very easy to look around and see what the devil is doing. We don't have to seek it out. It's obvious. It's right in front of our faces. It feels like it's surrounding us. We're having issues in relationships. We're having issues with finances. We're having issues with identity, with our health, like all the things. It's very easy to look around and see his plan to steal, to kill, and to destroy. So my third question that I've been really praying and seeking God about has been, what are you doing, God? Like, what are you doing? I want to know what you say about this. I want to know heaven's agenda. And even if things don't go right for me, tell me what your mission is, because I want to be a part of that. I want to see that. And so it's really weird. Being in this new space, where in a lot of ways it just feels like it's me and God. Someone told me something really beautiful. I was just like talking to them about some of my life stuff, and they were being a really awesome listening ear. But they said something so beautiful, and they just reminded me that I'm the bride of Christ, and that He's the head of my house. And so in this apartment, there's a whole bunch of, I mean, it's literally a new space, but also it feels like I'm stepping into something new also. And I'm realizing new levels of conviction. It's really weird. Like things I wasn't, things I didn't feel bad about before, or things that didn't convict me before, all of a sudden it's like, it feels like there's a new level of importance, a new measure of accountability between me and God right now. It feels like, I don't know how to describe it, but it just feels, I'm just noticing new things like that. There's new conviction, and also a new kind of drive and all this stuff. And so I was thinking about it. Like, this whole story is like getting everywhere, so I'm sorry. But yeah, so like this morning I was just, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, wow, like the only way that I find peace in the middle of this mess is knowing that I obeyed God, even when I really did not want to. And it's one of the things that really, I think it really separates Christians, quote unquote Christians, from disciples and really true followers of Christ, because we have so many opportunities to close ourselves off, and even close ourselves off to such an extent that we do that with God as well. Like we say, God, you can have this and this and this and this, but I'm not giving you this. And I'll leave you guys to just fill in the blank however that might apply to you. But I want to encourage you, if maybe you're in a season that looks anything like what I've described here, if you can relate at all, I want to just encourage you to obey the Lord, your Father, the lover of your soul, who has such pure and good intentions for you, for your life, for your health, for your marriage, for your finances, for all things. There is no one in all the universe who has more love for you than Jesus does. And so I want to encourage you to find some security in obeying Him, even when you don't want to, and even when it hurts. And I would encourage you to try to get to a point in that where it almost just becomes automatic. Like if God has made something known to you, if He's led you to a certain place, follow Him. and obey him, and do it without hesitation. Act first and think later if it's something that he's said to do. And I have a blog post that I'm going to attach in the description of this podcast that kind of highlights some popular and relatable Bible verses about obedience. And I wanted to share several. I have 4 verses here that I really liked from that post. So Deuteronomy 5:10. But I lavish unfailing love for 1,000 generations on those who love me and obey my commands. Psalm 119:55. I reflect at night on who you are, O Lord. Therefore, I obey your instructions. Psalms 119:2. Joyful are those who obey his laws and search for him with all their hearts. And Hebrews 5:8. Even though Jesus was God's son, he learned obedience from the things he suffered. And I just want to highlight a few points with those, especially that last one. That last one really hit me hard. Goodness gracious. I am trying my best to pour out in this season of my life, because I know it's just a season and it's going to end. And one day, just the message is going to be from a different perspective. And I'm just kind of in awe, that we have an opportunity to really grow and learn from going and growing through hard things. And obedience to God is one of those things. But the first 3 verses that I shared with you guys, which again, I'm going to include it in the description here. There are so many rewards that come with obeying what God said. And it's not just because it's not like God is trying to be a dictator at all. I think his instruction, his guidance, and his direction, they truly do come from a whole place. He loves us as a father. He loves us as a lover and a friend and as our savior. And anything that he tells us is for, ultimately, from an eternal perspective, it's for our good, even if it doesn't feel like it. And so when it says, I lavish unfailing love on those who love me and obey me, that is mind-boggling to me. And then the fact that we also have an opportunity to receive real joy in obedience, real joy when we actually search for him and seek him out. And then the last point I want to mention is I think the biggest thing about obedience sometimes is that people get stuck on the superficial part, which is just this attitude of kind of being a slave to it. Like, oh man, if he said it, then I have to do it. But I think when you have a real awareness of who God is, to you, and of how he is with you, when you have a real true knowledge of God as a person, it becomes inherent to obey him, because he fashions our heart, he fashions our thoughts, he fashions our desires after him. And it becomes something that we want to please him, like in the way that we would in marriages. So in Psalms 119, where it says, I reflect at night on who you are, that's a big thing. And so if you're just struggling with if you're kind of stuck on the man, like God's telling me this, but I don't want to do this, or God keeps bothering me about this thing, but I don't want to, like, whatever it is, I don't know what the language might be in your brain. If you're struggling with the obeying part, I would just urge you to consider the character and the attributes of the God that you serve, and truly seek him and strive to know him, because he's good. And he's good in a way that doesn't make sense for this world. So, like, good is actually one of the most supernatural terms that we can use to describe him and his heart for us and his thoughts toward us. So I think that's about everything I have to say on the topic for now. That's been something that's been really encouraging me. And I hope in the middle of all that, you got something that might encourage you as well. A quick little, I guess, announcement or note before I let you guys go is to leave me a review wherever you can, but particularly on Apple Podcasts. And wherever you're listening from, I want to ask that you send me feedback. Let me know how your listening experience is. Let me know what you would like to see more of. I know I'm not for everybody, but for those who I am for, let me know how I can serve you better. And so reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook. Ask me questions if you're having any trouble navigating. I would love to help as best as I can. Thank you guys so much for listening. Feel free to DM me to send me your feedback. Check out the description below to follow me on social media. This podcast is listener supported. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember, you are fully known and deeply loved. I'll see you in the next one.